Good afternoon, guys. We got us a thunderstorm out there right now. So I'm enjoying it, except for my ceiling's leaking a little bit. Back when we had, I think it was 2 years ago now, I'm almost forgetting. We had a pipe burst. Some of you remember the videos and the pictures of that happening here, and this entire floor was flooded. And the insurance never came through, so the ceiling never got fixed. So I got a little leak, but I cope with it. It's all good. I got a roof over my head. I got somewhere to sleep. I got the general's desk right here. I'm happy. I've never shown it before on a video. Let me give you a quick look. Excuse my hand. Here's my messy desk. Got Bibles and all kinds of goodies everywhere. But anyway, this is what I call the general's desk because I am General Trouble. All right, let's take a look. We're doing Christian and Training Devotional today. This is day 3. And if you weren't aware, these ones do not have titles. But I found this one to be interesting. I'm not going to explain it. We're just going to get into it. Let's read the entire 6th chapter in Deuteronomy. Now, when was the last time you ever read in Deuteronomy? Maybe never. This is called the Greatest Commandment. This is the heading right here. This is a Modern English Bible. See? It's pretty thick, and the print is big. I actually don't need glasses to read it, but I like to sometimes just make it a lot easier on my eyes without struggling in certain kinds of lighting and all that. Shouts out Brother Carlos, Charlie, Benjamin, Grayson, all Crossfire Warriors, and Sister Joyce, Tabitha, Mona, Trista, Opal, Sarah Joy, Sister Lisa, Sister Deborah, the British Rose, and if I can think of any more, I'll acknowledge you later on. All right. In the New King James Bible, this verse in Deuteronomy 6:7 says, "You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up." So let's take a look. It's about 25 verses. I'll go through it quickly, and then we'll get into this for you. Verse 1 in Deuteronomy 6. "Now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the ordinances which the Lord your God commanded to teach you, so that you may observe them in the land which you are crossing over to possess." So this was to the Israelites leaving Egypt, going into the promised land. Just like us today in this walk. We're born into sin, we're lost, we're spiritually lost. And when we get born again, we start our trek, so to speak, our new pilgrimage, our venture out of Egypt, out of bondage, because we're no longer there, and we're heading toward our promised land, which is heaven. So while we still live in this shell of a body, we're in a progressive walk heading toward our promised land. That's one way to look at this. Okay, verse 2. "So that you might fear the Lord your God in order to keep all his statutes and his commandments which I command you, you and your son and your grandson, all the days of your life, so that your days may be prolonged. Hear therefore, O Israel, and be careful to do it, so that it may be well with you, and so that you may multiply greatly, as the Lord, the God of your fathers, has promised you in the land that flows with milk and honey. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. These words which I am commanding you today shall be in your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. You shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Then it shall be when the Lord your God brings you into the land which he swore to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give you great and fine cities which you did not build, and houses full of good things which you did not fill, and hewn cisterns which you did not dig, vineyards and olive trees which you did not plant, and eat and are full. Then beware lest you forget the Lord who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. And that's a good lesson for us. By the way, thank you to the sister who she gave me this shirt yesterday. I won't say her name. I don't want to ruin her blessing, but thank you, sister. I do like t-shirts that fit me. I got a whole bunch in my other room that are far too small for me now. One day, if I have to give some away, I'll do that. I like to bless others. Verse 13, you shall fear the Lord your God and serve him, and you shall swear by his name. Now back to what I was saying. God does a lot of things for us. He's been doing things for us all our lives. And most of the things God has done for us, we will never know. But the things that we do know that God has done for us, let's not forget it. Let's be grateful. Let's be thankful. And let's remember how good God has been to us. God is working for us. He's not against us. If you are God's child, he is definitely working for you because you have a relationship. If you are still lost, you're not born again, you don't have the Spirit of God in you, God is trying to work things out in your life so that you will come to him, humble yourself, turn away from your sin, and believe in what Jesus did for you and who he is. So let's not forget what God has done for us and what he continues to do for us. Verse 14, you shall not go after other gods, the gods of the people which surround you, for the Lord your God is a jealous God among you. Otherwise the anger of the Lord your God will be inflamed against you and destroy you from off the face of the earth. You shall not tempt the Lord your God as you tempted him in Massah. You shall diligently keep the commandments of the Lord your God and his testimonies and his statutes which he has commanded you. Almost got tongue-tied there. You shall do what is right and good in the sight of the Lord, that it may be well with you, and that you may go in and possess the good land which the Lord swore to your fathers, to drive out all your enemies before you, just as the Lord has spoken. And in the New Testament, that is an illustration of deliverance, driving out the strongholds from your life. You get born again, your spirit becomes new. Now you got to come against the spiritual strongholds that are still there, from generational curses, from sin in your life, from trauma, from soul ties, and many other things, occult involvement, all that stuff. Break the strongholds over your life, repent of them, give them to the Lord, close the doorways, and cast them out in Jesus' name. Those are the spiritual strongholds. These were physical strongholds back then. The cities occupied by the enemy. Verse 20, when your son asks you in time to come, saying, what do the testimonies of the statutes of the judgments mean which the Lord our God has commanded you? Then you shall say to your son, we were slaves of Pharaoh in Egypt, and the Lord brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. And the Lord showed great and devastating signs and wonders upon Egypt, upon Pharaoh, and upon all his household before our eyes. He brought us out from there, so that he might bring us in to give us the land which he swore to our fathers. Because God is a promise-keeping God. He promised them the land. He said, the land is yours, you just got to go in and take it. The Lord commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear the Lord our God, for our good always, that he might preserve us as he has to this day. It will be our righteousness if we are careful to keep all these commandments before the Lord our God, just as he has commanded us. And be reminded that in the Old Covenant, it was about your own righteousness, because it was up to you if you obeyed the law or didn't. In the New Covenant, we are saved because of the righteousness of Christ and what he did to complete it. It's not about us. It's about Jesus. Day 3. Because of his anatomy, the horse's stomach is constantly producing acid. Now, I didn't know this. This is all about horses. All right? And the author parallels horses to us as Christians and training in the Lord. So a horse's stomach is always producing acid. He must eat all day long in order to keep from developing ulcers and other digestive issues. This is why it is suggested to split a horse's daily food intake into several small portions rather than one large one. Now, keep that in mind. God has designed us spiritually in a similar manner. We need to take in nourishment from him several times per day in order to keep the acid in our lives from making us upset. Reading the Word, spending time in prayer, praising his name, and listening to godly teachings are ways to get that nourishment. Spending 20 minutes of devotional time in the morning is wonderful. But if that's all the nourishment we get, then by evening the acid of worry and stress in our lives will upset our witness, our progress, and our walk. We have to keep ruminating on the Word all day long in order to keep our spiritual digestive system on track so that we can grow. Now you might ask right now, well, what can I do? How can I change? I don't know your schedule. I don't know if you work at home, if you go somewhere, if you have a job where you have to wait on customers or wait on people. If you're permitted, get a Bible. Use your phone. If you're allowed to do that, get a Bible app and read it while you're waiting for customers to come. That's just one idea. That came to me in the Philippines years ago when we had people from our church who worked in the market selling meat and stuff. I said, hey, have a book, have a Bible. While you're waiting for a customer, read the Word. Get it into you. It's your spiritual food. Listen to praise music. Spend time to worship God. You can talk to God all day long. You don't have to have a set time where you pray and then you end the prayer and that's it. Keep a conversation going all day long. And I'm trying to work on that myself. You don't just need one prayer time a day. Just keep interacting with the Lord all day long. It's a conversation. So these are just some ideas, but this is a good reminder that we don't just need one small piece of time during the day to get some spiritual food or time with God. Spend as much time as you can because eventually He's all you're going to have left. We're in the end times and a lot of bad stuff is coming. So you're going to want to have a good relationship that is ongoing with Jesus. All right, guys, the storm has stopped. I guess it only took me doing a devotional to stop it because it was going on for about half an hour. Be blessed. Share the video, please. And one day I'll have them up on our YouTube channel. I have 3 YouTube channels, DW Pastor Barry Spiritual Warfare, Daily Devotionals, and the main channel just under DW Pastor Barry. So go check it out, share the videos around, and God bless.